independence to innovation, Malaysia's journey is a story of resilience, ambition, and unity. Over the decades, we've built more than just skyscrapers and highways, we've built a nation. Now let's look back at some of our proudest milestones since we achieved our independence. 31st August 1957. The air was electric. At Stadium Merdeka, a crowd of 20,000 Malaysians, young and old, stood united. Tunku Abdul Rahman, our beloved Bapa Kemerdekaan, raised his voice and shouted Merdeka 7 times. Each echo was more than a word. It was a promise of freedom, of hope, of a future we could call our own. What made it even more powerful? Our independence was earned not through war but through diplomacy, negotiated with dignity without a single drop of bloodshed. A historic vote in London sealed our fate, and just like that, Malaya was reborn as a free sovereign nation. And this freedom, it still lives in you and me. It gave us the right to speak, to dream, to vote, to shape our future. Merdeka wasn't just a day, it was the first step that led to everything we are today. 16 September 1963 wasn't just a date, it was a leap of faith. Malaya, Sabah, Sarawak, and Singapore until 1965 came together to form something bigger, Malaysia. It was a bold idea, uniting different lands, cultures, and people under one name, one flag. Today, that unity is what makes us special. It reminds us that Malaysia was never meant to be just one thing, it was built to be many things together. And that unity, it's still what holds us strong today. In 1967, Malaysia took another big step, not just for itself, but for the whole region. Alongside Indonesia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand, we co-founded ASEAN, a pact built on peace, stability, and shared progress. Today, ASEAN has grown into a powerful bloc of 10 nations and even expanded its influence with the ASEAN Plus 3, bringing in giants like China, Japan, and South Korea. And through it all, Malaysia remains one of ASEAN's strongest and most trusted voices. In the early years of our nation, Tun Abdul Razak saw that our greatest potential lay in our land and our people. He launched FELDA, which stands for Federal Land Development Authority, to give rural families real opportunity. It cleared land, provided home, and gave a chance to build a future. Often, settlers received around 10 acres to cultivate palm or rubber, and FELDA provided villages, schools, and clinics, and basic utilities, turning isolated communities into thriving homes. That's Malaysia in action, progress rooted in the soil of our rural heartlands. After the 1969 unrest, Malaysia needed direction, and Tun Abdul Razak stepped up. As our Bapa Pembangunan, or Father of Development, he became Prime Minister in 1970 and steered the country towards stability and progress. He introduced the new economic policy to reduce poverty and bridge economic gaps. His focus on development wasn't just about buildings and policies, it was about people. And today, whether it's roads in our hometowns or education in our communities, we're still living in his legacy. In the late 1970s, Malaysia was led by Tun Hussein On, fondly remembered as Bapa Perpaduan, or the Father of Unity. He believed that true national strength came from social harmony and shared responsibility. To foster that, he strengthened our institutions and launched Amanah Saham Nasional, making investing in Malaysia accessible to ordinary citizens, people like you and me. You'll recognize his legacy in how we invest, trust, and work together. Tun Hussein didn't just lead Malaysia, he helped weave its people together.
I don't care whether I go down in history as a bad guy or a good guy. What is important is what is achieved in this country.
In 1981, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad became Prime Minister and brought with him a strong push for modernization. Often called Bapa Pemodenan, he introduced policies that prioritized industrial growth, national infrastructure, and economic development. During his time, Malaysia saw major projects like the North-South Expressway, the KLIA Airport, and the Multimedia Super Corridor take shape. Projects that still benefit us today in how we travel, connect, and do business. His vision of a developed Malaysia, helped lay the foundation for many of the conveniences and opportunities we now take for granted in our daily lives. Later that year, something incredible happened while most Malaysians were still asleep. In a bold and carefully planned move, Malaysian institutions bought up shares of British-owned Guthrie on the London Stock Exchange, reclaiming control of our own plantation land, over 800 square kilometers of it. What did that mean for us? It meant Malaysia was no longer just playing catch-up. It was taking charge. It gave us ownership of our own resources and sent a message to the world. Malaysians could stand tall in global markets. The Dawn Raid wasn't just about stocks. It was about confidence, pride, and a new sense of control over our future. In 1982, Malaysia turned its focus eastward. Under the leadership of Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the Look East policy was launched, aiming to learn from the success of Japan and South Korea, especially their discipline, work ethic, and industrial excellence. It wasn't just about copying models, it was about transforming mindsets. It was a national decision that quietly shaped our everyday lives, one that still echoes in how we work, think, and grow today. In 1983, Malaysia launched Proton, our first national car maker. It wasn't just about building cars, but building confidence in our ability to industrialize. 2 years later, the first model rolled out, the Proton Saga. And here's the cool part. The name Saga came from a public naming competition that drew over 100,000 entries. The winning name, submitted by Sergeant Ismail Jafar, inspired by the small but mighty Saga seed, symbolizing strength and national identity. For many of us, Proton marked our first taste of independence on the road, a car made by Malaysians for Malaysians. And today, Proton continues to evolve, partnering globally and powering forward. In the 1970s and 80s, one name echoed through stadiums, Mokhtar Dahari, or as Malaysians called him, Super Mok. With 89 goals in 142 international appearances, he stood among the world's greatest. In 1975, after dazzling fans and scoring against Arsenal, he caught the attention of Real Madrid. But he turned down the offer, choosing to stay in Malaysia playing for Selangor, driven by love for his country. Mokhtar wasn't just a footballer, he was a national icon who showed us that greatness doesn't require leaving home. He proved that discipline, heart, and loyalty could take you to global heights. Though he passed away in 1991 at only 37, his story reminds us you don't need a big stage to make big impact. You just need purpose and passion. In 1986, something magical happened on Chow Kit Road. Sudirman, Malaysia's beloved pop icon, turned an ordinary Kuala Lumpur street into the stage of a lifetime, holding a free open-air concert that drew over 100,000 people. A feat that forged his name in the Malaysia Book of Records for the largest outdoor concert ever held in Malaysia at the time. That night wasn't just a performance. It was a moment in history where Malaysia's spirit beat in unison. He wasn't just a singer, he was a lawyer, a patriot, a performer with unmatched heart. His background as a lawyer also earned him the title of the singing lawyer. On 19 March 1989, Sudirman's voice and heart lit up the Royal Albert Hall in London, where he won Asia's #1 Best Performer at the Asian Popular Music Awards with his unforgettable 1,000 Million Smiles, beating world-class talents like Leslie Cheung, Anita Sarawak, and Chia Chin. From Tanggal 31 to Balik Kampung, Sudirman didn't just entertain us, he united us. He proved that with passion, humility, and courage, Malaysians can shine anywhere. Before it pierced the sky, the land beneath the Petronas Twin Towers was once home to a horse racing track. Fast forward to 1996, and Malaysia unveiled not just buildings, but a bold statement to the world. Standing at 88 stories tall, the Petronas Twin Towers were the tallest in the world at the time, an icon of ambition, innovation, and national pride. For many of us, it became more than just a landmark. It's where we've taken school trips, family photos, and felt that spark of, wow, this is Malaysia, a symbol of how far we've come and how high we aim to go. Before 1998, getting around KL meant long traffic jams and limited options. But that year, everything changed. Malaysia launched its first light rail transit LRT system, the Star and Putra lines, bringing fast, modern rail to the heart of the city. The Putra line, now known as the Kelana Jaya line, was one of the longest automated train systems in Asia at the time. And while it quietly debuted alongside the Commonwealth Games, its real impact was felt by us, the daily commuters, students, and families who finally had a smarter way to move. Today, that same LRT system connects millions to work, school, and home. Proof that 1998 wasn't just about hosting an event, but building a future. In 1998, Kuala Lumpur made history as the first Asian city to hold the Commonwealth Games, the 16th edition, bringing together over 3,600 athletes from 69 nations. The Games were held at Bukit Jalil National Stadium, a brand new venue built in the heart of Bukit Jalil, about 20 kilometers south of the city center. World-class facilities including the first-time team sports like cricket, netball, rugby sevens, and hockey. And for people like you and me, it created legacies that last. In 1998, during the Asian financial crisis, things felt uncertain for many of us. Prices were rising, the ringgit had plunged past 450 ringgit to the US dollar, and the future looked shaky. Then came a bold decision. On 1st September, the government pegged the ringgit at 3 ringgit 80 cents to the US dollar. It was a way to stop the bleeding, protecting our economy from foreign speculation without relying on outside help like the IMF. It worked. The chaos started to settle. Inflation slowed, the ringgit stabilized, and slowly, confidence returned. That decision may have played out in boardrooms and newsrooms, but its impact was felt right at home, in the markets we shopped at, the jobs we held on to, and the futures we dared to believe in again. In 2000, Malaysia's breathtaking beauty earned global recognition. Gunung Mulu National Park in Sarawak and Mount Kinabalu in Sabah were officially declared UNESCO World Heritage Sites. These weren't just scenic spots. They were proof that what we have here at home is truly world-class. Whether you've hiked Kinabalu's rugged peaks or explored the ancient caves of Mulu, you've touched a part of Malaysia that the whole world treasures. And even if you haven't, just knowing these wonders exist in our backyard is a reminder of how lucky we are to live in a land this rich in natural beauty. It's not just nature, it's part of who we are. In 2001, Putrajaya officially became Malaysia's third federal territory, built from scratch to be our administrative capital. Originally oil palm states in Pang Besar, this city was planned in the 90s to ease overcrowding in Kuala Lumpur. By 1999, federal offices began moving in, and on 1st February 2001, Putrajaya was declared a federal territory. Today, its iconic bridges, wide boulevards, and a smart city layout represent more than just architecture. They reflect a vision for a better-run Malaysia. When Tun Abdullah Ahmad Badawi, fondly known as Pak Lah, took office in 2003, he reminded us that true leadership does not need to shout. As Bapa Pembangunan Model Insan, he championed education, integrity, and values, believing that a nation's future lies in its people, not just its buildings. Through initiatives like the National Integrity Plan at Islam Hadhari, he guided Malaysia with calm conviction, planting seeds for a more thoughtful, ethical society. With his recent passing, we're reminded that strength can be gentle and progress can be principled. Pak Lah's legacy isn't just in policies, it's in the lesson that leading with honesty, humility, and trust can take us further than we think. In 2008, two of our favorite weekend getaways, Georgetown and Malacca, were recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. But it wasn't just about old buildings. It was about celebrating the cultures, flavors, and stories that shaped who we are today. The colorful shophouses, the smell of laksa in the air, the sound of temple bells next to church towers, this unique blend of Malay, Chinese, Indian, and colonial heritage finally got the world's attention. When the pandemic hit, Malaysia stood strong. Thanks to all of us, our communities, and a little app called My Sejahtera. Launched in April 2020, this Made in Malaysia tool became our digital buddy. From booking and showing vaccination certificates, to tracking health risk and reporting symptoms, all in our own hands. By early 2022, nearly 80% of us had been fully vaccinated, and the app had helped identify over 9,000 cases, 18% of the total via smart contact tracing. That's neighbors, friends, maybe even family, caught early so we could keep each other safe. And you know the best part? Instead of long queues, paperwork, and uncertainty, we managed our vaccinations with just a few taps. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours, and it helped Malaysia navigate one of its toughest tests. Merdeka 118 isn't just a skyscraper, it's our story rising into the sky. At 678.9 meters, it's the second tallest tower in the world and the tallest in Southeast Asia. Its diamond design is inspired by the raised hand of Tunku Abdul Rahman during his iconic cry of Merdeka, linking our past to our future. Standing beside Stadium Merdeka, it reminds us how far we've come. And yes, it even made it to Hollywood. In Marvel's Thunderbolts, Florence Pugh leaps off our tower, putting Malaysia's pride on the world's biggest screen. A reminder to all of us, our dreams can stand as tall as this tower. From Merdeka to now, Malaysia's journey isn't just written in history books. It lives in us. In the roads we drive on, the schools we study in, the apps we use, and the flags we proudly raise, we've come this far because of generations before us, and it's our turn to carry that torch forward. Here's to what we've built together and to everything we still dream of becoming. Malaysia's story isn't over. In fact, it's just getting started.
Merdeka!